Okay, this one's going to be really, really short. Not a whole lot to talk through here. This is just the week 13 lab, and it's the solid waste assessment. Yes, this screen looks a little bit different than the one you normally see because this is how it looks on my end when I'm fixing things. But if I try to do it as a student's view, then I can't get into it because it doesn't open until Sunday. So there you go. So week 13, we open up our week 13 folder and it's letting you know that we're almost done. It's telling you everything you're supposed to do. And then it gives you some announcements and a whole bunch of links. I finally spread out those links. I found the way to do it. And I was very, very happy about that. Some of you may have noticed when there's a lot of links, there's like that extra bullet point in between because I find it overwhelming to have them all crammed. I finally found the proper way to space it, so I was very happy. Anyway, you have the hyperlinks. You have this, the chat. You have the actual directions. Then you have the data sheets. This is what you have to actually physically write stuff down on. Then you have the lab where you turn it in. This is one of those quizzes, but it's basically you answering all the things that I want you to answer that you have obtained from the lab. Then you have your optional discussion board. And again, optional means you don't have to do it. It's nice when people do it. I like hearing what people think. If you have questions, that's the best place to go, but totally optional. And then an extra credit. So let's talk about these real quick. Now, big thing I want you to notice is right here. I am giving you extra time. Do not squander this extra time. This lab, you have to collect stuff for multiple days. You have to collect for a few days in a row, and if you wait to start it, then you're going to not get all your information. And yeah, so there you go. So directions on how to do it right here, talking you through. Scanning because I didn't check to make sure I had any dates there. Okay, I don't see any dates on there. All right, so right here, 3 days. 3 days in a row, you are collecting all of your waste. Every bit of stuff you are throwing away. And here you go. These are what you're collecting. You are collecting how much paper, glass, plastic, metal, food waste, or any other kind of waste. You have to know how much you're throwing away for every single one. You're also going to be breaking it down by category. So this is just explaining what you're doing, a way to account for it. If you're smart, you will start by reading this entire document. Am I going to read you the whole document? No. Why? Because it's a college course and you should be able to read. So read. I give examples and all of this stuff on how you should do this. So after that, we then have our data sheets. These are the data sheets I was talking about. Should be just a Word document. You can print it out, download it, fill it out, however you want. But I'm pretty sure it's a Word document, not PDF. If you need one versus the other, let me know. I have both on my computer. But what you're going to do here, notice this says waste not recycled. So say you're one of those people who does not bother recycling. You can have whatever excuse you want for not doing it, but just say you're one of those people. And if you are, then before you throw something away, you figure it out and you're like, okay, hey, we finished this roll of toilet paper. I've got the cardboard too. I'm going to pitch it. That goes under paper. Notice you would have to decide if it's packaging or other. The cardboard tube of the toilet paper is a hard one. I would count it as packaging because it's holding what you're using. So I would count that as packaging. Say you ordered a pizza, came in a box, cardboard box, that would be paper. That would be packaging. Say that you were doing homework and, even a better one. Blow your nose in tissues. You're throwing the tissue away. Paper, but that's other. So you mark it down here. Plastic, there you go. We've got packaging. So if you're ripping a plastic thing off of something you purchased, that would be packaging. If it's an actual container, like you had takeout and it came in a plastic container, that would be plastic container. Other, that could be if you use like the plastic forks, that kind of thing. That would be under other. You get the idea. So you're going to do that for paper, plastic, glass, and metal. Account for everything. Food waste. This one's a little more iffy for a lot of people. You should be weighing this. You have your solids versus your liquids. I don't know why anybody would throw away good coffee, but some people do. That would be a food waste. Say that you have kids who insist on having the crust cut off of their sandwiches. You would weigh those crusts to figure out how much food was tossed. That kind of thing. So you're going to keep a running total of how much you're tossing, and then the amount and the amount of weight. So how many of these and how much it all weighed. So that's what you're doing here. And then you add it up and you get your total. Then you do the same thing for recycled. Exactly same form, but now it's for anything you have recycled. Guess what? That cardboard tube in the middle of the toilet paper, that is paper. That is recyclable. In our house, that goes in the recycle bin, just like the cardboard tube for any of the paper towels we might use. It all goes in the recycle bin. Not everything is recyclable, because if, like the pizza box I mentioned before, if food is stuck on it, they can't recycle that. So that can't go in this. But if you make a lot of the frozen meals, I couldn't think of the word, a lot of the frozen meals that come in the plastic dish, after you cook it, if you look at the bottom, there's that little recycle triangle. If you wash that out, you can put that in the recycle bin. Then you can recycle that. Things of that sort. So then you obviously put all this here. Now, if you notice, this one also has food waste listed. And a lot of people are like, huh? How do you recycle food waste? Well, if you have a compost heap, or if, like, say, when you make coffee, you have those coffee grounds, you can use that to mix into soil to help add nutrients, reintroduce some stuff into the soil for a healthier plant. That would be a way of recycling some of the solid food waste. One that we've used a few times is when you're washing off the rice, the liquid that comes off of that contains a lot of good stuff for your, text came up, comes up, is good for some of the plants. So you add that in, you pour that as the watering for the plant, and that actually also adds some more. So that's another way to try to reuse some of your liquids. If you want to better yourself on this, then seriously just Google and take a look at what all you can reuse. It'll help. But anyway, you fill out this data sheet. Then you get down here. This page is extremely important, and every semester people just straight up ignore it. This is telling you what the percents are for the average across here. So notice it says municipal solid waste generation, and it tells you the different types of waste and then the percent totals. This right here, whoa, I can't get it to do it, right there. Notice this table needs to be used to answer questions in your lab report. So when you're doing the quiz and it's asking you, how do you measure up? This is what it's talking about. I would say over half the lab every single semester just makes up numbers or says, I don't know, I guess I am ... The information's right here. Just come to this page. That's it. I even wrote down how to figure out your percentage. So helpful one. Okay, now this is where you'll find the quiz. I'm not going to open it. I mean, I might at the end, but I'm not doing it right now. Optional discussion board. Here's the extra credit one. For extra credit, you have to attach an image of your filled out data sheets. The 1 and the 2, the one for recycled and the one for not recycled. Do not attach it. Do not make it a link that somebody clicks and has to go somewhere else. You have to have it where right when you click on that discussion, boof, you can see it. And then say something about it. No excuses though. Don't sit there and say, well, I know that recycling's important, but it's not available here, or it takes too much effort, or any of that. Because I don't care where you're located, there are places you can bring it. Yes, it takes a little more effort, but kind of the point of this whole thing is to show if you make more of an effort, you can actually make a difference and help the planet. So just don't be lazy, make an effort. All you have to do is look around, you will find stuff. I lived in Eccles County for quite some years. There's no recycling in Eccles County. And actually my oldest son, when he was in, I think it was middle school, we actually did a presentation, and he tried to talk Eccles County into bringing recycling into Eccles County. He tried. I used to just bring everything to VSU, and most places like Publix and Ingles and a lot of the grocery stores have recycle bins out front. And a lot of towns and counties and cities have various locations where you can take it and drop it off. So even if they don't pick it up right on the curb, there is somewhere you can bring it to. So if it really matters, you would make it happen. If you have ever driven somewhere to get a pair of pants or a pair of shoes you really wanted to, you can make the effort to bring your recycling somewhere to help the planet. Just going to throw that out there. Okay, so for the extra credit, you have to post your stuff and basically be accountable. Say something about it. Now, for this one, the quiz, I'm going to show you a quick preview, and then we're going to be done. So, quick preview. Look at this. I'm bypassing it. So, it's going to look stuff like this. How does your daily waste generation rate differ from the average of about 4.5 pounds per person per day? Why is it different? Guess what? You need to answer that. Both parts, not just how it is, but also why. And since you're watching this video, and I know you are, because if you weren't, you wouldn't hear me talking right now, so I'm pretty smart that way, huh? Since you're watching this, you will know where you are comparing this to is on that third page on the datasheet file. So there you go. Notice there's only 6 questions, but all of this pertains to what you have collected for 3 days. So pretty much that's it. Let's see. I think the only other thing I am going to cover real quick will be this right here, the class statistics. This is where everybody stands on their grades as of right before I graded the air pollution lab. So I want you to notice there's a few people with well over 100% in this class. That means there are people who are doing beautiful jobs. You're doing everything you're supposed to. You are striving. You're working for it. Then notice right along, let's see, right around, that would be 75. So right around here, all of these are probably still A's. These are my B's. Most people are in the upper C and higher category. If you do not like your grade, maybe do the work. Just a thought. Okay, now, final little thing about the information you're collecting, the data you're collecting. I am going to make a much more intensive video for next week based on all this. Make sure you have your data kept up to date. Start looking to see if you notice anything. I'm curious if anyone has seen how many times the data changed and went backwards, because I'm going to show you. I have been collecting this, and so this is for the lab counties right here. Everywhere where you see orange, this is where all of a sudden, for some reason, the data went backwards. It started normal. This is the first time it happened, but I want you to take a look. All of a sudden, backwards, sometimes substantially backwards. Yeah. So this is a little problematic because, like right here, it was nice and steady, and then all of a sudden it went back to something from a few days ago, then went even lower and then started climbing again. And so as of yesterday's collection, I am finally back to what it was on October 29th, which is strange. Very, very strange. So I want to know if anybody else has noticed all these types of changes. See what you think. If anybody wants to know if their county had any of these changes, ask me and I'll give you the dates and I'll give you the numbers. And next week I am also going to talk about the graphs, and I'm going to do like a walkthrough on here. So I'm going to show, here's this information and here is how you do the graphs. And if you're curious, you know, because you're on here anyway, these are ones that I've started doing for the month of October, and I'm running it through the rest of the year. These are my weekly average rate of change. And so these are the ones I currently have. So I have the world rate of change, the death rates for the world rate of change, the USA, the deaths, Georgia, deaths, Carroll County, because that's where my mom lives, DeKalb County, they're just poof. Forsyth County, Fulton County, that's Atlanta, Gwinnett County, that's where I live. Jackson, my cousin lives there. Lowndes County, Florida in general, the Florida death rate of change, Miami, and Palm Beach. So these are the ones I've been tracking. And this is the type of graph I'm going to show you, because seeing the trend kind of helps better visualize what's going on. And if anybody looks at what you had, the first batch of numbers you got to the current batch of numbers, you might be surprised at how much it's actually changed in that amount of time. And we are currently like spiking like crazy. Things are not going well, and it's worth taking a look at. So the next video that I'm making, I will mention the lab, but the biggest thing next week is going to be all about this project to help get you going, because we are almost there. We have almost gotten to the finish line, so yay. And I think that's about it for now. I'm supposed to be calling a friend of mine at 12:45 and it is 12:46, so I'm done, and peace out.